Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
You mentioned John McCain mentioning that young man who died, the Navy SEAL who died in that mission. His father has said that he didn't want to talk to you. Your reaction to that?
Well, this was a mission that was started before I got here. This was something that was, just they wanted to do. They came to see me. They explained what they wanted to do, the generals, who are very respected. My generals are the most respected that we've had in many decades, I believe.
Decades.
And they lost Ryan. And I was at the airport when the casket came in, the body came in, and it was a very sad with the family, and it's a great family,
He
incredible
was not
wife and
with
children.
the family. They wouldn't
I
meet
met
him.
most of the family.
He didn't.
And I can understand people saying that. I'd feel, I'd feel, what's worse? There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse. But again, this was something that they were looking at for a long time doing. And according to General Mattis, it was a very successful mission. They got tremendous amounts of information.
Except none of that is true. That's 1 minute and 4 seconds, and none of it was true. That's got to be a record. No? Yes? No? I guess Bill Clinton's got him beat on it. Depends on what the meaning of is for parsing. But that's completely not true. That was just creepy. Obviously, yesterday we started the show by reading you an article from the Miami Herald because William Owens, who is Ryan Owens' father, refused to meet the president. They were in another room, the family was, a sort of a holding room before you're let out to the flight line to meet the casket. And the family did not, the chaplain came in and the chaplain said, the president would like to meet you and your family. And he said, I don't want to meet with him. I can't shake his hand. I would be an uber hypocrite if I did. I don't understand why this stupid mission. I don't understand why now. So that whole little bit right there, just on faux news, it's just incredible. But think about the motivation for him to lie there. Okay, he's trying to place the blame for the botched Yemen raid on Obama and on the generals and on the military itself. Anywhere but his desk, anywhere but the commander-in-chief. The buck does not stop here. It goes over there. Let's move it over there. He said this was a mission that started before I got here. This is something they wanted to do. His generals, who are the best in decades, he said, they wanted to do this before he got. This makes no sense. You know, when you just listen to what the hell he says, it makes no sense. My generals want. Your generals apparently weren't there because you say your generals now are the best ones you've had in decades. So what do you mean they wanted? Who are they? But here's the point. Remember this, my dear sweet friend, servant in the military, active duty right now. Trump's got your back in order to stab you in it. They came to me and they explained what they wanted to do. The generals who are very respected, my generals are the most respected that we've had in many decades, and they lost Ryan. You know, he insults everybody. He insults the intelligence community, and then the intelligence community just says, you know what, watch this. He insults the military. He insults the judicial branch. He insults Congress. And tonight he's going to sit in front of the judicial branch, the Congress, and the executive. And he's going to try and, I don't know, sell something to them. But I love how he calls him Ryan, like he freaking knew the guy. He wasn't even in the Situation Room then. That was his first military exercise. I don't know what to call it. His first military mission, and the guy didn't even take the time to sit in the Situation Room and monitor so he could learn something in case something went wrong. Well, every freaking thing went wrong. You know, they lost Ryan. That should be his mission accomplished / Benghazi moment. You know what the problem is? Trump has 6 or 7 of those moments every single day. Here's the deal with the military. Soldiers, airmen, Marines, we take incoming. The commander-in-chief and leaders, they take responsibility for their decisions. If the man won't take responsibility, why should the soldiers Serve it all. Why should we take crap? Quote, this is something they were looking to do for a long time. And according to Mattis, it was a very successful mission. They got tremendous amounts of information. Yeah, you know what the information we got was? That Trump is a monster. That Trump is a freaking monster. Let me show you the report on the Yemen raid. This is unbelievable. This is Martha McFadden.
Highly decorated Navy SEAL killed in a secret raid in Yemen is revealing why he declined to meet the president at Dover Air Force Base as his son's body arrived there. Bill Owens telling the Miami Herald he has questions for the president about his youngest son Ryan's death. Why at this time did there have to be this stupid mission when it wasn't even barely a week into his administration? For 2 years prior, everything was missiles and drones. Now, all of a sudden, we had to make this grand display? Plans for the raid had begun during the Obama administration, but just 5 days in, the Trump White House decided to launch.
A new administration, I think, naturally is going to be spring-loaded to the move out and demonstrate something. We've seen that in the political realm. It's not surprising that we saw it in the military realm here.
The White House has repeatedly called the Yemen mission a success in gathering important intelligence.
We gathered an unbelievable amount of intelligence.
Today, addressing Bill Owens' comments.
I can tell him that on behalf of the president, his son died a hero, and the information that he was able to help obtain through that raid, as I've said before, was going to save American lives.
But tonight, multiple officials tell NBC News that is simply untrue. The raid has yielded no intelligence of value, at least not yet.
Everything he said in that 1 minute and 4 second clip was a lie. Everything, including that it produced such valuable intelligence and that he met William Owens. He never met the family, the father. They wouldn't meet. And that the generals before they wanted to do that. You know, it's the commander in chief who signs off. Obama never signed off on this. You know why? He didn't want boots on the ground in Yemen. It was all drones. Mr. Owens, Ryan's father, William Owens, is correct. It's correct. We didn't have boots on the ground in Yemen. It was all drones. And the crazy thing is, when you start connecting the dots, remember the timeline here on the 26th, okay? On the 26th of January, this president says that he wants he's going to, ban, he's going to do something on the travel, right? The 27th, he issues this travel ban, okay, against people in Yemen from coming to the United States of America. Now, of course, the people who would qualify for visas, which takes vetting to get, the people who would qualify for a visa to enter our country from Yemen would typically be translators, people who assist us in calling in drone strikes, people who tell us where Al-Qaeda is, tell us where where ISIS is, tell us, where hotbeds of activity are, let us, wiretap or whatever, or, people who help our military efforts. Those would be the people, just like the Iraqi translators, right, who were stopped at the airport. Those would be the people in Yemen who would get visas to enter the United States of America after being vetted. Well, the president puts this ban on them getting out of Yemen after they've helped the Americans in Yemen, which puts their lives in danger. Right. Yes. Because ISIS wants to kill them for helping America spot them, locate them, call in drone strikes against them, whatever. Okay. They are now banned from fleeing Yemen after they cooperated with the United States on the 27th. The 28th is when Idiot Boy moves forward with this raid. You think maybe somebody there on the ground in Yemen was pissed off and said, what if I whispered in the wrong ear that, the military was coming, and they were greeted with a live firefight? What if that happened? You know what I mean? It's just so sick, but everything he says here is a lie. Every freaking thing.
Mr. President, you mentioned John McCain mentioning that young man who died, the Navy SEAL who died in that mission. His father has said that he didn't want to talk to you. Your reaction to that?
Well, this was a mission that was started before I got here. This was something that was, just they wanted to do. They came to see me. They explained what they wanted to do. The generals, who are very respected. My generals are the most respected that we've had in many decades, I believe. And they lost Ryan. And I was at the airport when the casket came in, the body came in, and it was a very sad with the family, and it's a great family, incredible wife and children. I met most of the family. And I can understand people saying that. I'd feel, what's worse? There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse. But again, this was something that they were looking at for a long time doing. And according to General Mattis, it was a very successful mission. They got tremendous amounts of information.
No. No. And here's some more really creepy stuff from him. Let's see if this will play. Hang on. No, it won't. He says in this little clip I'm trying to play, it's not that important. He says that being president of the United States of America started off as a surreal experience. Then why did you order a military raid if you were still tripping? If you were still, like humming along to Surrealistic Pillow, if you were still in a Salvador Dali painting, if the watches were still melting in front of your face, why would you order a military operation? I don't understand. It's surreal to him. He's tripping his ass off over. Wouldn't it be something if that's what his drug of choice was, that it was acid after all? I mean, and then he brags about, in terms of achievement, I would give myself an A, but in terms of messaging, I would give myself a C. Because he said, I think I've done great things. What things has he done? He hasn't done anything that's produced anything good for any American. What has he done? What great things has he? There's not one piece of legislation. He's now got this budget. Not that there is a budget to look at, not that anything can be scored, not that the, forget Mulvaney from the Office of Management and Budget. I mean, the OMB is supposed to score budgets. They haven't even put this thing out, so no one can score it, no one can look at it. All we know is he's all about military, okay? That's why I started with this, we should have saved, Private Ryan. It's just it is surreal. His mind is really like, it's being trapped in some sort of Museum of Modern Art painting. Do you know it doesn't have any relationship to real life. It's just totally in his head, this life he's living. But it's so amazing that this budget spends $54 billion more on our military. And our military spends more than the next 8 nations combined. We are we have the strongest military in the world. We have the largest nuclear arsenal capable of destroying this planet many times over. He said he wants to invest in more nuclear weapons so that we could be at the top of the pack. We are at the top of the pack. This is why it's so bizarre to listen to him. This is why it's like crossing the Rubicon, and it's just on black as white and up is down and left. The whole thing and everything they say is a lie. You take simple little things like this and you can show how easily you can show that this is just an amazing, massive lie. There was no good intelligence that came out of that Yemen raid. There was none, according to all the reporting.
Save American lives.
But tonight, multiple officials tell NBC News that is simply untrue. The raid has yielded no intelligence of value, at least not yet. In addition to the death of Ryan Owens, 6 other U.S. service members were wounded. And at least 25 civilians were also killed, including 9 children under the age of 13.
Mission accomplished. Oh, yeah, mission accomplished, yeah. This should be his Benghazi moment, no? Mike Pompeo, CIA now. Mike Pompeo from Kansas, and the Koch brothers. It's Chris Kobach and his cross-check and all this stuff with our elections. I mean, all these people are from the same little family. I bet if they did 23andMe, 22 would be the same. Do it's just so amazing how incestuous this really all is. How they're all interrelated, interwoven, and now interdispersed into the government. $54 billion. This is what he's going to tell you tonight. That he cares about the military. He cares about... Let me tell you something. The people who voted for Donald Trump kept saying he's a businessman, he's a businessman. Well, where is this stealth efficiency? He's he's supposed to be running the 54 billion into the world's best military, more, and then he's gonna gut the rest of the government, including the State Department. So we don't do diplomacy anymore. All we do is try and fight our way out of every single issue that Americans have with another country. We just go to war and produce absolutely nothing but dead people everywhere. Really, this is his plan. This is an authoritarian's view of the world. All this money that he's going to talk about tonight, all this money, this 54 billion and the law enforcement money and everything else, this is for him.
Clear for takeoff.
Randi Rhodes Air Force. Air Force. RandiRhodes.com.
Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.